In today's video, we'll install our community plugins, create folders and directories for our cycles and reviews, set up all our journaling custom templates. We'll also add navigation buttons to navigate through our cycles and reviews. Before we get started, if you haven't already, be sure to download my free starter kit vault from my Ko-Fi page so you can follow along with the video. Installing community plugins. Jump inside Obsidian, we're going to install our community plugins. We'll open up community plugins, select browse. First community plugin is going to be called Calendar. Click on install, then enable. Calendar is going to allow us to place a calendar widget down the bottom right hand side of Obsidian. It's going to help with opening up a daily note or a weekly note or entering habits for a particular day in the week. The next plugin is Data View. Click on install, then enable. Data View is going to give us all our cycle and review queries, which is going to give us a snapshot of all our reviews. The next plugin is called Folder Notes. Folder Notes is going to allow us to create a directory page for each part of our cycle and review. The next plugin is called Meta Bind. This one is going to allow us to create our dashboard buttons as well as our directory buttons. Click on install, then enable. Next plugin is called Periodic Notes. This is going to allow us to set our daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly notes, which also links into the calendar plugin. This is optional, but I recommend installing Quick Add. We'll cover this later in the video. Next plugin is Templater. Templater is going to allow us to automate a lot of the date, month, week information that gets pulled in when a review note is created. Click install, then enable. The next plugin is called Minimal Theme Settings. This is going to allow us to set our minimal theme settings. So click on install, then enable. And you also want to grab style settings as well. So I just want to touch on habits. If we do a quick search for habits, we can see that there's not many results for supported community plugins to do with habits. And this is why I haven't chosen to use a habit plugin for this video. I do mention the contribution graph, which also only has 13,293 downloads at the time of making this video. But this is something that you can look into potentially if you wanted to mix up your habit tracker. We'll install and enable to show an example during the tutorial. I also want to just mention metadata menu. The reason I haven't chosen this route is due to the plugin no longer being supported. So the last update was 6 months ago, and there's a little note here from the developer just mentioning that he's no longer going to have time to work on this plugin. So that's why I haven't included it. But there are a lot of videos on YouTube showing how to use this plugin to create your journal or habit tracker. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to look into this plugin. Creating folders and directories. Now we have all our community plugins installed. The next step is going to be to create our folders in our journal folder. We'll just right click. We're just going to create a new folder, call it reviews. Also want to create a folder called daily journals. Create another folder called action plans. And then inside my reviews folder, I'm going to create a few subfolders. The first one's going to be achievements. Second one will be daily habits. The third one will be disappointments. The fourth one will be goal outcomes. The fifth one will be months. We'll include quarters and also create a folder for yearly reviews. I'm going to create a folder for value goals and also one for goal systems. Now you can put your goal outcomes and value goals inside your goal systems, like so. So now we have our review folders. Let's go create our landing page for each section. To do that, right click, go down to folder note commands, click create markdown folder note. And that's going to create a markdown folder note for achievements. We'll do the same for all of the remaining folders. So before we forget, we need to create our weeks folder as well. And we also need to create our landing page for our weeks. Developing custom templates. So now we'll go ahead and create our templates and navigation buttons. Now this section of the video is going to get quite intense. We're going to be using a lot of templater code to automate a lot of our metadata. I'll leave some downloads in the description for anyone who wants to download the template pack, or if you just wanted the completed vault ready to go, I'll make that available in the video notes. There will be a small donation just because it takes quite a lot of time to put this together. So let's go down to our toolkit, create our first template, and this template's going to be our achievements template. So we'll just call it achievements template. I'll bring up my achievements template here, and this is what we're going to enter into the achievements template. So we'll just go through what's going on here. So we have some templater code here, and what this is doing is it's going to prompt us to enter our achievement when the template loads. It's going to give it a prefix with the little achievement emoji that I've chosen here, which is a star. Then it's going to go fetch the date added, the week, the quarter, the month, and the year using templater code. And then we're going to create the YAML properties at the top here to be placed up here with all our templater code here. So the reason I do this is because if you use date.now templater in your source code, so if you were to use this up here in your source code, say you just put it in here, sometimes it fails and doesn't work properly. Now, being templater, you would have to put it in like this, but I've just found that it just sometimes doesn't work. So my workaround was to create this block of code here, which does it for me. Down the bottom here, this one just flips it into the live preview as soon as the template loads. Otherwise, it loads into source mode. So that's what this little block of code does here. So we'll go select and paste that in. We'll move down and we'll have a look in source mode. So we can see here that I've got a fallback for the meta details here, which is pulling in the date, week, month, quarter, and year. And we're just going to hide it by default by putting a little minus there. And this is just a call out. If we want to have a look to see what that looks like, that's what it looks like there. Then I've got my two meta bind buttons here, which we haven't created yet. So we're going to do that in the next section. And that's the same for this embed here, meta bind cycles and review menu. We haven't created that yet either. So for now, we'll just pop that over to the left there. Then we've just got a couple of text areas here to enter our summary and what worked. And that's going to set the variable up here, which is summary and what worked. You can see what worked and summary. So we just want to put those in underneath. And then we have our achievements template completed. The next template is going to be our daily journal template. So just come down and put in your daily journal template. We'll just open up the completed one here and we'll jump into the source mode. So we can see here that we're not using the same code as we were in the achievements template. We can use this if we want to in the daily journal template as well. But in this instance, I've just opted for this code here, which is date, year, month, day. And then you've got the weeks being pulled in here with the quarter, the month, and the year. And we'll test this later on to see if it actually works. And if it doesn't, then we can always use this block of code here and customize it to match our YAML properties here. So you can see I've added the habits as prefix habit with the habit name. So I've got habit yoga, habit gym, habit read, habit Obsidian, habit Bailey for walking the dog, habit walk and run, and habit learn. And then for the reviews, I've put them in with the prefix daily. And then we've got daily followed by what inputs we're putting in. So in this case, overall mood, highlight, interests, brain dump, excitement, right, wrong, energy, productivity, gratitude, idea, tomorrow, focus, and learning. So we can just copy that over here. And then we've got our hidden fallback meta details, pulling in the date now for the date, week, month, quarter, and the year. And that's just in case it fails here for any reason. But we can always write a templater block of code if we need to. So we'll pop that one across here. Then we've got our little script to pull in a random note, which is this one here. So if we have a look at this, this is a little random note templater code, which is being pulled in from this function here. So we're basically going and grabbing a random note from our vault. So we'll place that one down here. Now we haven't created our habit tracker yet, so we're going to do that in the next section. So we'll just copy the embed for now with the heading. Then below that, we have our daily journal. So if we just look in reading view here, we can see we have our learning with our learning field, our focus, our overall mood, what was today's highlight, what caught my interest today, anything you need to get off your mind, what excited me today. So you can put as many fields here as you would like, as long as you've got the properties to match it. So I'm just going to basically copy this block here, put that over there. You can stop the video at any time and have a look at how this is constructed. So anything that says input is meta bind. So input text is an input text field, and anything with input text area is a text area. Then you've got inline select, and that's just our option field here. And if you're not sure how I've constructed this, all you need to do is come into your settings, go down to meta bind and select the open FAQ, and that's going to bring up the meta bind playground, and it will go through everything that I'm using. So the inline select, you can go read about that with the meta bind docs here if you like, and it gives you some more information there. So that's quite useful to have, and it will tell you when there's an error as well, which is also quite helpful. All right, so you can see here I've got the text area binding to my daily focus, and then my daily focus is up here under daily focus. And then I've got my daily overall mood for my inline select, and that one is just here. So we're just matching up the inputs to match our YAML properties. So we'll just go down and grab all the rest of them here. And feel free to stop the video at any time, copy these down. All right, so then I've got files created today and files modified today. And these are just simply data view queries. So you can see that the files created today is grabbing the file link as file, date format file, creation time by the date as created from, and you can put a location in here. I just put the whole vault in there. And then where the file C time is greater than equal to today. And we can sort that descending, and you can limit that to as many as you want. I just keep a limit in there so it doesn't go crazy if you accidentally pull in too many notes. So a limit of 50 is usually quite good. The file is modified today. We've got a limit of 30 there. So you want to be those underneath. Then we have our navigation here. So that it's just going to cycle to tomorrow or yesterday. And this is optional. You don't need to put that in there. But you can see that's templater as well. And then you're just using the date format that you're using for your Obsidian daily note. So I'm using day, month, then year. And then it's -1 for yesterday and then +1 for tomorrow. So just copy and paste that one down there. And then I've just got a couple of action items here, so such as daily reminders, my focus, my YouTube channel, and you can just put these as things that you just want to focus on every day and you don't want to forget about them. So I tend to just throw those down the bottom as a reminder. All right, so now we've completed our daily journal template, so we can close those two. So the next template is our disappointments template, and this is going to be very similar to our achievements. So we'll just go put in disappointments template. And I'm just going to bring up my completed template. So we've got the same templater code. The only difference is it says enter your disappointment. I've changed the emoji and I've also changed the tag here and the emoji there. But apart from that, we've got done better and summary. So there's a couple of different things there. I'm just going to copy that, paste that one across. Then I've got my meta bind buttons, which we haven't created yet, and the meta bind embed, which we also haven't created. So we'll copy and paste that in. And then we have a text area for our summary of the disappointment and a text area for what we could have done better. And we can see that those are just two text areas there. So we'll just copy those across into our template. And then we just need to double check that we've got those YAML properties. So we've got summary and done better, summary, done better. So that is fine. So that's our disappointments completed. Then the next one will be our monthly review. So create your monthly review template. I'll just bring up the example one and we'll just jump into source mode. We can see that we're using the date format again. And once again, if when we go to test this, if it does fail, we can always fall back to our templater here. For now, we'll just use this one. So you can see because it's a monthly review, I've just made the prefix MR for monthly review. So just copy that, paste it across. Feel free to stop the video if you need to type this out or to customize it to your liking. And we'll jump into source mode here as well, just so it makes it a little bit easier. We've got our hidden fallback meta details here. So we'll put those in there. Got a little tip here. So I like to use this little tip as just like a monthly reminder. So I usually just put like a monthly tip in there just to keep on track. And then you can enter anything in there that you like. Then we've got all our properties or all our text area. So we've got this month's theme, wins for the month, highlights, what we achieved, what we were disappointed with. And there's links to the achievements as well, which we'll create shortly. We've got what were the month's lows, challenges, great. What are we grateful for? What have we learnt this month? What did you do for yourself? What could you improve? What was your main focus? How to make next month awesome. And then there's a little rating out of 5 for the month. And then further down, we've got our action plan and a few other things going on. So we'll get to those. Let's go grab this now. So we'll just grab these. You can see these are just meta bind inputs. So we're down to gratitude. We'll do these ones. Alrighty. And then we've got our rate our month out of 5 stars. And this is just an inline select targeting the MR effectiveness. So pop that one in at the bottom. Then our action plan. Now we haven't created our action plan yet. So this one's just pointing to the copy of the action plan that I have here. So we need to create this as well. So we'll just have a look at this one. So this is just a table. We've got our action plan in there for our time frame and the goal. So to create a table is a little bit tedious in Obsidian. So I tend to use advanced tables to do it. Otherwise, you just go insert table and then you just basically paste like so. There's one plugin called Advanced Tables that's really good for making tables. So check that one out. We won't use this copy one. We'll just go like so. And this one's got to live in our action plan. So we want to go into this action plan here. So we'll just go new note, call this one action plan 1. It's going to go back. That should link to action plan 1, action plan in there. I'll just copy this one here. There's our action plan. And we should have that showing now. Yeah, there it is there. And you can call that the month that you're in as well. If you don't want to call it action plan, call it the name of the month. All right, so we've got our action plan. So what's our next section that we've got? Monthly review. This one is the month beginning to the month ending. What we might be better off doing is closing this one. We can kind of drag this across so we can see it a little bit better. Just move that on like that. There you go. So now you can see the whole thing. What we'll do is we'll just copy there to there. We've got our monthly habit tracker here as well. You can see there's templater script in there to pull in the month that we're currently inserting, or where the month equals the month that we're inserting. And then it's pulling in all our habits from journal daily journals. So we're just going to grab, I think we'll grab everything from here. Open up our template again. And we'll just drag that over there. Go back to source mode. We're going to paste that one down there. And then that gives us from under action plan, monthly reviews, down to gym efforts. Now, gym efforts is usually just text that I capture on my phone, and then I'll just paste it in there each month. So that's just something that I do manually, but you don't need to do that. And then we've got notes this month. We'll just go copy the notes this month, and then the action items at the bottom. All right, so yeah, that one's pretty crazy, the monthly, but we'll test that out a bit later on. It will show as an error until we insert it, so don't stress too much about that. All right, so the next one is going to be our quarterly review. So we'll create a new one, call this one quarterly review template. And I'm just going to bring up this one here, and we'll jump into source mode. So we can see we have not as many for the quarter. We've just got what's working, what's not working, what we plan to change, new ideas, value goals, goal outcomes, and then our date and some tags up the top here. I am using a custom CSS class for this one called Habit Tracker, and that just styles these tables and texts a little bit differently. So we'll just go through it quickly. We've got the quarter beginning, quarter ending, quick links to each quarter. We've got a reminder for when the quarter is, and then what's working, what's not working, changes to plan or approach, new creative ideas, what are this quarter's value goals, and what is the quarter's goal outcomes. And then we've got a little notes created for the quarter. Now, I haven't been able to figure out how to make this dynamic, this where statement here. So I've just put in a little call out here as a reminder, and then you can just change it for the quarter. So we're in Q3 at the moment, so I'm just using this where statement here. But if you were in another quarter, you could use this one. You just need to change the year if it's the next year. Because Q4 is this year, you could just change it with that one for Q4. But if you were watching this video, say in 2025, then just need to adjust that accordingly. All right, so, and then we've got notes created for the quarter, and then our action items down the bottom. So just jump back into source mode. We'll just put our YAML properties up the top there. Just make that source mode as well. And we've got our fallback meta details. We've got our quarter beginning and our quarter ending. So we've got the start date here and the end date. I usually put that in manually. And then I've got some templater in here to cycle through. So I might do the same as before. I'll close this one, hide that one, and I'll just show you what that looks like. Freeze frame there. So you can see what Q1 looks like. And we can go down and see what it looks like up until Q4. So it's really just grabbing and doing a calculation to give us that link back. So let's open that one again, open up this one, that one over there, and we'll go source mode. All right, so let's grab this bit, put that one in down there, and then we want to grab all of our information here, and finally our notes created for the quarter. So that's our quarter review template. The next one is the weekly review. Just bring up my completed one, and we'll just do a quick skim through. So we've got all our properties here. We've got our templater pulling in the date, etc. We have our tags, we have our custom CSS class, have our fallback meta details. We've got what we're learning, what the week's focus is, what the mood is for the week, the effectiveness, rate the week. We've got our week beginning, week ending, templater code, previous week, next week, then all of the days of the week. And I'll just go show you the code for Sunday to Saturday. We'll jump into source mode. We'll scroll over. So we have our templater for Sunday, templater for Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and finally Saturday. You can also see the templated code for the week beginning as well as the week ending, and the result is like so. And we have our weekly habit tracker results. So just open source mode and we can have a look where the week equals some templated code here, or week enters the same code there. So it's just whether it's a link or whether it's not a link. So you can see the 2 square brackets there. And then it's pulling in all our habits from our daily notes. And then we've got all our input information here and our little data view for notes created this week. And you can freeze the video and have a look at how that one is written. So I think to speed up the video, we'll just copy everything across, close that one out there. Okay, so the last one is the yearly review template, the one that's already completed. We can see the yearly review. I'm just using the prefix YR for yearly review. Then I've got all the YAML properties here. If we jump into view mode, you can see it's got the key events and then the monthly highlights from January through to December. And we've got major milestones, gratitude, challenges, obstacles, professional academic growth, unfulfilled aspirations, relationships and connections, and looking forward. And then just a little reminder for the end of the year. And we'll jump into source mode here and we'll just copy our YAML across. We've got our fallback meta details, and then we've got our meta bind text area inputs. So I'll grab all of those as well as our little reminder. Okay, so now we have our yearly review template completed. Adding navigation buttons to templates. So we'll close our yearly review. We're going to open up our achievements template, and now we're going to create a couple of meta bind buttons. And this one's going to take us back to our map of content or dashboard, which will be the cycles and reviews dashboard. And this one here is going to take us back to the achievements directory. So we'll jump into the source mode. We can see we have our inline meta bind buttons here, and then we're embedding this meta bind cycles and review menu, which we haven't created yet. So we're going to go create that now. Come down to your snippets folder, create a new folder, call it meta bind embeds. And then inside there, create a new note and just paste the meta bind cycles and reviews menu. Click the back button. And then down here, hit the middle mouse button, and that's going to bring it up on the right-hand side. So we want to create the link back to our dashboard. So we need to create that dashboard. So you can either put it in your map of contents folder here, or if you want to keep it all together, you can just make it the reviews folder here. I'll put it in the map of contents folder. So I'll just create a new note in there. And then I'm going to call this one cycles and reviews. And then I'm going to hold down the Windows key, hit the full stop, and I'll put the refresh emoji at the end. Then I'm going to go 3 dashes and type in CSS classes. We'll just leave that blank for now. So now we have our map of content landing dashboard page to link back to. So we'll go back to the achievements template, and we want to link this button here to our new map of content cycles and reviews. So we'll come over to our embedded meta bind cycles and review menu. You can right click meta bind button, and then I'm just going to change this to cycles and reviews. And then I'm going to hold Windows key, hit the full stop, put that refresh icon, and I'm just going to copy that down to my action open and hit add action. Just going to type it in like so, and then I'm going to make the ID to match the button here, which is cycle. I don't need to put a tooltip or a CSS class or an icon because I've already got one here. And we'll just keep the style as default for now, but we can change that later if we like. And you can see the preview down here. It's going to ask us whether to render this button as hidden. Because we're bringing it in this little embed, I'm going to say yes, hide the button. And then we're going to hit insert. And now I have my button created. So let's go test it out. Jump into reading view, and we can see that it's created the button here. If we click the button, it now links back to our map of content. So that's what we want. The next one is going to link to the directory or the dashboard, which shows us all our achievements. So we haven't created that yet. We do have the landing page here called achievements. So we can see the achievements there, but we haven't constructed this page yet. We just want to create the button to link to it. So we'll go back into our MetaBind cycles and reviews menu. We'll just jump back into source mode, and then we'll also put this one back into source mode so we can see the name of it. We're just going to copy this one, achievements, and I'm just going to paste it down here. And I'm just going to simply copy and paste and then take my ID and replace the cycles with achievements. And then all we need to do is change the label to be achievements and also the link to be achievements. And we can put an emoji in this one as well if we want. So we can put some quotation marks, and we should probably do the same for this one up here. And then what we can do is we can hold the Windows key, hit the full stop, and put the little star. We could put it before if we wanted to. We could do the same for this one if we wanted to, put it before or after. It doesn't really matter too much. And then we'll go test that out. So we'll close our achievements. So we've got button not found. So if we go back and go forward again, now we see the button and we can see it says achievements, and we can see this one says cycles and reviews. So if we click that one now, and it goes to the achievements directory down here. So we haven't created these yet. So we're going to create these once we've finished our buttons. So now let's look at our disappointments template. We've already done our cycles and reviews button, so we don't need to make that, but we now need to make the button that goes to our disappointments directory. All we need to do is take the ID, and we're just simply going to copy and paste, cut, paste, change this to disappointments. And you can also add an emoji in here if you want to, probably that one. And we'll just do the same for the link. And now we can test that out. Once again, the button doesn't show until we go back and forward again. And now we have our disappointments button. And then if we select disappointments, that's going to take us down to our disappointments directory. So I haven't put any buttons on the daily journal template or the monthly, the quarterly, weekly, or yearly template. But if you did want to add some buttons at the top here to go back to cycles and reviews, you can do so. So we need to create one more review directory. So navigate over to reviews, right click, create a new folder, call it daily journals. Now open up the daily journals we created earlier. And what we're going to do is we're going to jump into source mode, Control A, Control C to copy, then right click daily journals, folder note commands, create markdown folder note, and Control V to paste. That's going to give us 2 daily journal directories. Now, the reason we do this is when we create our dashboard's going to target the reviews folder. It's going to load everything from the reviews folder. So it's not going to see the daily journals because it's outside of the reviews folder, but we still want to have a directory for daily journals as well. So that's why we're doubling up. It's also worth noting that to future-proof your cycles and reviews, what you should think about is by making anything that repeats dynamic. So your buttons here could be converted into a MetaBind embed, which is dynamic, so that when you make a change to the MetaBind embed, it changes it for all the daily journals. And I'll show you what I mean. So if we just go new note, I'll call this one MetaBind daily journal menu. Then what I want to do is I want to copy my buttons on my daily journal. Then I need to go grab the button syntax. So we'll grab cycle. Next one will be habits. The next one will be months. The next one will be quarters, then years, and finally new daily. So now we have our MetaBind daily journal menu. We simply replace our buttons here with our dynamic menu. And we can remove this one here, the MetaBind cycles and reviews menu. Now if we preview, we still have our menu. But if we ever want to change our menu for all our daily journals, instead of opening up every individual daily journal, then we just go and make the change here to our MetaBind daily journal menu. So that's just something to keep in mind. And that's probably the same for your data view queries. So
You could make these dynamic as well and link them in. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Just go new note, call it daily journal data view results. Then you simply put your data view query in like so. Come back to your template and we'll just create it underneath. So you'd go pop your dynamic data view hash, then a caret, and then choose your data view query. It's going to give us an automated caret variable here. So change that to something more readable like data view daily journal, and then just update it over here. So now if we preview that, we have a dynamic data view query inside of our daily journal entry. If we were to make changes in the future, we simply just update this one here, and that saves us from going through all our daily journal notes to update each one individually. So it's just something to keep in mind.
This concludes part 2. Coming up in the series, we'll configure our community plugins, create our daily habit tracker widget, then we'll set up our cycle and review directories.